8 movies that make up one horrifying universe. A world that is stitched together by entities in the dark, lurking just beyond sight, and evil that refuses to stay buried. Welcome back to Like Horror. Today we're ranking all 8 films in the Conjuring Universe, from worst to best. Each film pulls you into a world where faith is tested and evil is watching. Some concepts were simply executed better than others. This ranking was developed through a combination of general audience reviews, personal opinion, and the film's overall commercial success. Let's get started. Starting off with The Nun. I really was looking forward to seeing this movie in theaters. But all I can say is, I took a good little nap watching this one. Watched it once and probably will never watch it again. I promise, I'm not trying to be harsh. Let me explain. This film promised so much, including the terrifying origin of one of the franchise's creepiest villains, Valak. But did it deliver? Not quite. The dark, cold, and gothic atmosphere is hauntingly eerie. In fact, the atmosphere was so creepy that the film's director, Corin Hardy, took initiative to have a Roman Catholic priest bless the set. Eerie, I know. The cinematography and set design delivers the part perfectly, truly making it feel like the film is a nightmare come to life. However, where The Nun went wrong was the scattered plot, predictable jump scares, and forgettable characters. The horror cliches in this film are also overdone, with too many creaking doors to count. The characters, including Sister Irene, provide no opportunity for the audience to invest emotionally into them, making the stakes seem less heavy. So yeah, The Nun gave us chills visually, but I was left with a hollow and, honestly, pretty boring feeling. For fans craving substance with their scares, this one falls short in comparison to many other films in the franchise, which is why The Nun lands in last place in the Conjuring Universe franchise. Though it should be noted that regardless of critics, this film grossed $366 million worldwide, which makes it the most profitable film in the franchise. Support the channel by liking and subscribing. It helps more than you think. Moving on to number 7, The Nun 2. Now, is it better than the first? Absolutely. But that's not saying much, is it? Set 4 years after the events of the original film, the audience is back once again alongside Sister Irene in her battle against Valak. This time, the horrors take place at a French boarding school in 1956, after a priest is horribly murdered. It is clear that evil is spreading, and quickly. Tessa Farmiga brings heart to the role, and the stakes seem higher as we have gotten to know the character more after the first film. It is clear right as this sequel begins that the pacing is faster. The film does a remarkable job of fueling the feeling of utter dread as you watch. Director Michael Chaves brings Valak to life. The film also uniquely weaves in lore from the broader Conjuring universe, which always makes it a fun watch for longtime dedicated fans. While this film is definitely an improvement from the first, it's still more stylistic than deep. Critics seem to agree, with this film ranked at 5.6 out of 10 stars on IMDb. Basically, to keep it simple, it has some decent jump scares and cool visuals. However, this film can be forgettable, and that's exactly what you do not want in a franchise like this one. Part of me wanted to rank this movie higher for nostalgia purposes, but I have to be honest, the original Annabelle film walked so the others could run. Hear me out. The creators of the Conjuring series had immense pressure on their hands leading up to the release of Annabelle. It was 2014, a year after the franchise launched with The Conjuring, which had grossed $257 million during its original release. This spin-off had everything going for it. The creepy porcelain doll was already set to be a horror icon. Add in the 1960s setting, you've got yourself a horror movie. John Form thought he had found the perfect gift for his pregnant wife, Mia, a vintage doll. Unfortunately, Mia's lovely gift from her husband does not last long. One haunting night, a satanic cult invades the couple's home, targeting them. They intend to perform a ritual sacrifice, using the baby as a gateway to bring a powerful demon into the world. This invasion ultimately conjures an entity and sets off the terrifying chain of events with the Annabelle doll being possessed by the demon. The entire young family in danger angle is classic horror, but unfortunately the OG Annabelle doesn't quite stick its landing despite having a strong setup. The movie kind of feels like it's trying to ride the coattails of its predecessor. The jump scares are mostly predictable, and the story never provides depth beyond "this doll is possessed." The director, John R. Leonetti, creates some captivating visuals, but overall the movie struggles with tone and creating momentum. Don't get me wrong, Annabelle isn't bad, but it's underwhelming. Thankfully, the later films do not disappoint. We also covered 6 horror movies that are so dumb, they're absolutely perfect. Go laugh and scream with us. Next, at number 5, is Annabelle Comes Home, which was released in 2019. This film takes the Annabelle saga in a new direction, featuring the Warrens' artifact room, a literal horror playground that is filled with cursed objects that are just waiting to wreak havoc. The tale begins when Ed and Lorraine Warren leave their daughter Judy at home with a babysitter because they are needed in a paranormal case. As usual, duty calls. The film is set shortly after the Warrens have locked the Annabelle doll inside their artifact room, secured behind sacred glass and blessed by a priest. Clearly, the Warrens are taking no chances, and they believe the room is safe and protected. However, when Judy's friend Daniela enters the artifact room, despite knowing the possible dangers, real terror begins. Did the Warrens think Annabelle would stay in that box forever? Her dark influence begins to, of course, awaken other spirits lurking in other artifacts. The setup of this film surrounding the Warrens' artifact room results in an absolute supernatural showdown with endless possibilities, and a unique angle for the franchise. This film has everything most horror fans need: energy, dynamic jump scares, and a balance of serious and heartfelt moments, including moments surrounding Judy's struggle to overcome fear. To put it simply, this film is a spooky adventure that was such a fun way for the franchise to further expand the universe. The chaotic energy and unique plot make this film a perfect contender for the 5th spot on our list. The third film and most recent film in the direct Conjuring franchise is 4th on our list. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, was released in 2021. The first 2 films in the Conjuring storyline featured houses of horror being terrorized by dark entities, while the third swaps out creaky floorboards for something entirely different: courtrooms. Yes, courtrooms. This film is based on a real-life court case from 1981, called The Case of Arne Cheyenne Johnson. This was the first time recorded in United States history where demonic possession was used as a legal defense. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, features paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren in one of the most sensational cases of their careers. After a police officer comes across a dazed and bloodied young man that is walking down the road, the man is accused of murder and claims demonic possession as his defense. This forces the Warrens into an experience unlike anything they've faced before. The makings of this story are simply chilling. Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson carry the film on their backs, and their chemistry remains the beating heart of this universe. There are flashes of greatness all throughout the movie, such as the opening exorcism scene. Overall, it leans more into supernatural mystery than full-on horror. For fans who come for pure dread and terror, The Devil Made Me Do It might not be for you, but this film builds suspense. A lot of it. We finally made it to the top 3 on our list, and at number 3 we have Annabelle Creation. This 2017 film had me captivated from start to finish. The scares are truly horrifying and linger in your mind, while the plot keeps you captivated for the entirety of the 110 minutes. The story begins with a happy family of 3. Sam Mullings, who is a toy maker, makes his daughter Annabelle a beautiful porcelain doll. Soon after, their 7-year-old dies in a tragic car accident. This sets the tone of the film immediately. Many years later, Sam and Esther are excited to welcome a nun and 6 orphaned girls into their California farmhouse. Terror soon strikes when one of the girls, Janice, uncovers a seemingly innocent doll that is hidden away in a forbidden room, and it turns out to have absolutely terrifying supernatural abilities. This movie makes your heart race nearly the entire time. It builds suspense, not just with jump scares, though there are plenty, but in the quiet moments too. When it's so quiet, you can hear your heartbeat. Director David F. Sandberg, who has previously terrified audiences with Lights Out, crafts some of the franchise's most chilling moments in this film. You really feel for the characters, especially poor Janice, who is tormented by the haunted doll throughout nearly the entire film. Annabelle Creation is sinister, suspenseful, and surprisingly heartfelt, which is the perfect cocktail for a film that deserves its spot at number 3 for this ranking. Soon after the success of the first film, James Wan returns to the director's chair to bring us The Conjuring 2, which was the franchise's second highest grossing film, accumulating approximately $321 million worldwide during its original release. Ed and Lorraine Warren are tasked with traveling to North London in order to help the Hodgson family that are living in a house plagued by an evil spirit. This film is captivating. From the creative camera work to the slowly built tension that rises deep in your chest, one of the family's children in particular, Janet, faces torment that feels relentless and deeply personal. Beyond the horror aspect of this film, the relationship between Ed and Lorraine Warren is a strong suit, which is a sentiment that echoes throughout all the Conjuring films they are in. Their love, their faith, and their willingness to face literal evil together ground the film in something real and compelling. You are rooting for them. The Conjuring 2 blends character, atmosphere, and nightmare fuel into one unforgettable experience. This movie doesn't just stay with you, it haunts you. They say you can never beat the original. In the case of the Conjuring Universe, this is absolutely true. 2013's The Conjuring is practically a perfect horror movie. The talented James Wan, known for other beloved films such as Saw and Insidious, delivered the perfect amount of tension, terror, and dread throughout this film. The audience's witness the Perron family's haunting and their descent into experiencing supernatural horror. One particular standout moment in the film that is still talked about to this day is that hand clap scene. Absolutely chilling. Watching this family simply trying to survive as 2 paranormal investigators do everything in their power to help them ignites the audience's desire to be glued to the screen from start to finish. Ed and Lorraine Warren aren't just paranormal investigators, they are the emotional anchor of this movie. These characters bring heart and humanity into a genre that sometimes forgets both. Their love story that is woven into the chaos adds a layer of wholesomeness that somehow assists in making the horror work even more effectively. The original Conjuring film is beautifully crafted and incorporates atmosphere, story, style, and soul. A modern classic through and through. This September, the final film installment featuring the Warrens in this franchise is coming to theaters. According to Hollywood, the franchise is set to enter Phase 2 after the upcoming release of The Conjuring Last Rites. This film is set to conclude the central narrative arc of Ed and Lorraine Warren, portrayed by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. Phase 2 may explore new characters and stories within the same universe. Overall, all 8 movies have their own standout moments, but some simply had more than others, like many more. This cinematic universe is one of the most beloved in modern film history. Whether you're here for the demonic dolls, the cursed artifacts, or the power couple that is Ed and Lorraine Warren, the Conjuring franchise has delivered some of the most unforgettable moments in modern horror history. This franchise proves that horror can have heart, atmosphere, and world building that is comparable to most blockbuster universes that are out there. And honestly, we're totally here for it. Now, it's your turn. Which of these films do you like the most? Which one do you think is overrated? Did you agree with this ranking? If not, drop your rankings in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to stay tuned for more videos like this one. Until next time.